Today we're talking about how to maintain your Japanese ironclad knife. Ironclad knives are for the purists out there looking to get the most traditional Japanese knife experience. These knives are made from 3 layers of material, 2 layers of iron on the outside protecting a core layer of carbon. Close to the edge of the knife here, you'll notice a wavy line, which is referred to as the Clad line. This is where your iron layers on either side of the knife are coming to an end and carbon steel is beyond. Ironclad knives are going to be the most difficult to maintain in the Japanese knife world, as all 3 layers of this knife are susceptible to rust and discoloration. To maintain an ironclad knife, quite simply, all one needs to do is keep the knife wiped down immediately after use, dry and clean at all times, and ensure that it is stored in a dry and clean place. As previously mentioned, if you make a mistake and forget to wipe this knife down, there is a strong chance that the entirety of this blade will rust. Similarly to a stainless clad knife, it is not a big deal and the rust can be easily removed. You can do so in the following ways. Number 1 is using a rust eraser, which you can pick up from us or another Japanese knife retailer to gently scrub the rust away. Second, you can use baking soda and water formed into a paste to gently scrub the rust away. And third, you can polish the bevels of your knife to remove any rust using a stone. And you can also use sandpaper to gently scrub away any rust. It's important to note that any of these methods are abrasive and they are going to scratch your knife. So it's very important to use as long a stroke as possible in the same direction so that our scratch pattern is uniform and doesn't look as messy on our knife. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this knife is for a purist looking for the most traditional Japanese knife experience. This means that these knives are going to be a joy to sharpen and more specifically, really fun to polish the bevels on. If you're looking for a knife that you can achieve a beautiful kasumi or sort of hazy finish where you see the transition between iron and carbon steel, this is the knife for you. Ironclad knives and carbon steels in general respond really well to natural stones and polishing with higher grit synthetic stones as well. Some other good habits that you should try to get into to maintain your ironclad knife is to always grab the knife with a clean and dry hand. This will ensure that you don't have to scrub the handle with any abrasives, ruining the finish on the natural wood. As previously mentioned, it's very important that you keep the knife wiped down, especially when working with acidic ingredients like tomatoes, onions, and citrus. When we say wipe the knife down immediately, we mean before the knife leaves your hand after any cutting job and before it goes down on the board to rest for any length of time. It should also be noted that carbon steel is more brittle than stainless steel and therefore is more susceptible to chipping and other such damage. Especially when twisting or torquing the knife in an ingredient or on a board, a carbon steel knife is likely to chip. To clean your carbon steel knife, you can use just regular old dish soap, though I would recommend trying to stay away from any soaps whatsoever. What I try to do is wipe my knife down immediately after use and then just run it under warm water after use and wipe it down dry. The most common cause of rust that we see here at the shop is the knife being put away not completely dry or left in a tight-fitting container with moisture in it. This is going to cause the knife to rust overnight and you'll wake up to a nasty surprise. Oiling your knife after every use is not necessary, but it will help to maintain that really nice shiny look to your knife. And if you're going away for any length of time, like maybe a week or 2 on vacation, and your knives are just gonna sit in the drawer for that time, good idea just to give them a little oiling before you go away, more so for peace of mind than for anything else. So to summarize, Japanese knives are great for anyone looking to get into sharpening, polishing, thinning their knife out. They are a joy to sharpen. All you need to do to maintain it is keep it dry and clean and make sure it's stored in a dry and clean place. If rust does form, it's easy to remove, so there's nothing to be afraid of with ironclad knives. Stay sharp, no dishwasher.